and thank you for coming to our little event here. My name is McGuigan, and I'm a grandson of Patrolman Matthew Clowry. And the topic that I'm presenting right now is his legacy. His legacy that's traveled through our family down to this current day. Matthew and Mary Clowry had 5 children. Mary had no idea that she would be suddenly raising her family alone. And while busy doing that, she probably never gave any thought to the idea that she and her husband had planted the seeds on a legacy of amazing stewardship that would travel all the way down the family. So what I'm going to do is talk a bit about the legacy. First of all, we're here because 90 years ago, he died. 20 years later, his nephew, Jimmy Doyle, died in the line of duty also as a Philadelphia fireman. He and 10 others were killed in the explosion of a chemical lab, the Burke explosion. I can't imagine that a whole lot of families go through having 2 people lost in the line of duty in one city. But this family did. By the way, we have some of the nephew's relatives, close relatives back here. Doyle people, would you raise your hand? So I'm hoping everyone will make one. Hopefully we'll get to meet them. Wonderful people, and this is an informal gathering, and hopefully you'll just mingle and get to know each other. All right. What we're going to do is I'm going to mention each of Matthew and Mary's children, and we're going to look at what they've done and what sort of pattern there is to their legacy. So, for those who are not family members, the next couple of minutes there are going to be a lot of names. Don't worry about it. We're not having a written test at the end of this. You'll be okay. But just listen to the story because it's an interesting one. For family members, if I make a couple mistakes along the way, I'll apologize right now for them. Okay. Let's look at Matthew and Mary's kids. 5 of them. We'll start with the oldest. The oldest is Margaret. Everybody knew her as Peg, except me. I knew her as Mom. She married Tom McGuigan, and Tom McGuigan was a Philadelphia police officer. And he got called to duty in World War II as an Army private, and he found himself landing on Normandy Beach on D-Day. He also came home with 2 Purple Hearts and the Bronze Star, back to his job as Philadelphia police officer. Second, another child of Matthew and Mary's is Matthew. And Matthew was a Philadelphia fighter, and he retired as a captain. He was also a battalion chief, acting battalion chief in the fire department. In addition to that, his fire career was interrupted by World War II, and he wound up in the Army in the South Pacific. With his wife Mary, a nurse, they had several children, one of which you just met, Pat. So what did Pat do for our country? Well, Pat was a United States Marshal and an ATF agent, and by marrying Deborah, he brought another ATF person into the family. So that's what he did for us. Now, moving down to number 3, Evelyn. Evelyn was a daughter who married Len Grum. And Len Grum was both a Philadelphia firefighter and a World War II Navy veteran. Together they had a son named Lenny. Lenny was the United States Army during the Vietnam era. And they had a daughter, Lynn. Now Lynn married this guy named Connie Kilgareth. Connie, could you raise your hand there? That's Connie. Now if you're following this pattern here, you know what I'm about to say. Connie Kilgareth was a Philadelphia firefighter who retired, I believe, as captain. And his stint in the military was in the Army in Korea. Now, moving on, we have the fourth child we'll talk about was the little guy, Jim. Little Jim was the youngest in the family. Jim attempted to join the Marine Corps just a couple of days after Pearl Harbor was attacked. He had guts, he was spunky, but he didn't have the right age. He was denied. But later he joined the U.S. Army Air Corps. And the Air Corps, of course, turned into the Air Force. And he flew over both World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He earned several awards, one of which is the Distinguished Flying Award. And with his wife, Kay, they had several children, three of which were military veterans. We have Margie here in the office. Margie? Margie and her husband, Michael, are retired Navy. And they are commander and lieutenant commander. We have Jim. Jim? Jim is a proud veteran of the United States Marine Corps and participated in Desert Storm. Their brother, Lane, he was with the U.S. Navy. He sailed with the Navy. Moving on, in addition to that, young Jim, the fourth child, his granddaughter, she's Jim's daughter, Sarah, she is currently in the Navy. So the legacy of that family just continues. Fifth child was Catherine. Catherine died at age 3, and quite frankly, on a personal note, it bothers me that I never got to meet my mother's sister. But she died at age 3, and I can't imagine. I imagine she was a great, great woman, and I imagine we'd be talking about her too if she had lived. Okay, he just heard a whole lot in the way of police, fire, and military. But that's not what our family is about entirely. We have a family over the last 90 years who has done wonderful things. They're dedicated to service of the people of the community. For example, we have clergy, we have educators, we have a variety of businessmen, hospitality, and a variety of medical fields represented, and lawyers. So a whole lot of service. And when you look at the whole package, we're a pretty good family. Pretty good family over these 90 years. In conclusion, I'd like to say this. We as a family, we definitely owe Matthew and Mary our gratitude. We definitely do. However, so does our community.